Have you ever wondered what stories are hidden in your DNA? Maybe you've seen those ads. The ones with people joyfully discovering their long-lost identity, connecting with relatives they never knew they had. You spit in a tube, send it off, and a few weeks later, a detailed report about your ancestry and health risks lands in your inbox. It feels like magic, a key to unlocking your past. But what happens after that initial thrill of discovery? You paid for the test, but who truly owns your most personal data now? And more importantly, how is it being turned into a multi-billion-dollar industry right under your nose? The answer might surprise you. You see, the real business model for many of these popular DNA testing companies is UNG just selling you a kit for $100. That's just the beginning. The real gold mine is the massive database they're building with every single sample they collect. Your DNA, my DNA, millions of people's DNA. Think of it as a library, but instead of books, the shelves are filled with the most intricate biological information on Earth. Now, who would be interested in checking out every book in that library? The answer is Big Pharma and major research institutions. When you sign up, buried deep within those long terms of service that almost nobody reads, is a consent form. With a simple click, you might be agreeing to let the company share your anonymized genetic data with third parties for research purposes. And by share, we often mean sell or license. In 2018, one of the largest consumer genetics companies, 23andMe, signed a $300 million deal with the pharmaceutical giant GSK didn't pay for the test kits. They paid for access to the data from millions of customers. This isn't a one-off event. It's the standard operating procedure. Your genetic information becomes a commodity, a resource to be bought, sold, and analyzed on a massive scale. The initial fee you paid, that was just your entry ticket to becoming part of this vast, profitable ecosystem. Now, before we get too cynical, it's crucial to understand why your data is so valuable. It's not just about money, it's about the future of medicine. Imagine scientists trying to find a cure for a complex disease like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. For decades, progress was slow because they were working with small, limited sets of data. It was like trying to understand an entire ocean by studying a single drop of water. But with access to millions of genetic profiles, researchers can now spot patterns that were previously invisible. They can identify specific genetic markers associated with a higher risk for certain cancers, heart conditions, or autoimmune disorders. This large-scale genetic information acts as a super-fast shortcut for drug development. Instead of spending years and billions of dollars on trial and error, pharmaceutical companies can use this data to pinpoint the most promising targets for new therapies. They can understand why a drug works for one person but not another, paving the way for personalized medicine treatments tailored to your unique genetic makeup. In essence, by contributing your data, you are, in a way, helping to accelerate the discovery of life-saving drugs that could one day benefit you or your loved ones. The potential for good is immense. The data from these databases is fueling a revolution in healthcare, making treatments faster, cheaper, and more effective. But this incredible potential comes with a catch, and it's a big one. Let's talk about privacy. When these companies say your data is anonymized, what does that actually mean? It means they strip away your name, address, and other direct identifiers. But your DNA sequence itself is the most unique identifier you have. It's more specific than a fingerprint. Researchers have repeatedly shown that it is possible to re-identify individuals from supposedly anonymous genetic databases by cross-referencing them with other publicly available information, like census data or social media profiles. Suddenly, that anonymous data point isn't so anonymous anymore. And what about the law? In the United States, there's a law called the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, or GINA. It sounds great. It prevents health insurers and employers from using your genetic information to deny you coverage or a job. But GINA has significant loopholes. It doesn't apply to life insurance, disability insurance, or long-term care insurance. So, an insurer could potentially use your genetic predisposition to a future illness to charge you higher premiums or deny you a policy altogether. And let's not forget the ever-present risk of data breaches. These genetic databases are a treasure trove for hackers. Imagine your most sensitive health information being leaked onto the dark web. The consequences could be devastating. leading to new forms of discrimination we can't even predict yet. The promise of scientific advancement is balanced on a knife's edge with these profound risks to our personal privacy. So, are we stuck between helping science and protecting ourselves? Maybe not. The conversation is shifting. A new wave of thinking is emerging, one that puts you back in the driver's seat. Imagine a future where you don't just give your data away. Instead, you become an active steward of your own genetic information. New platforms are being developed, some using technologies like blockchain to create a secure, transparent, and decentralized ledger of who accesses your data and for what purpose. In this model, you would hold the keys to your own genetic code. A research company wants to use your data to study heart disease. They send a request directly to you. You can review their project, see exactly how your data will be used, and decide whether to grant them access. And here's the game changer. If you approve, you get compensated. You receive a micropayment, a royalty, for your contribution to their research. You would share directly in the profits generated from your own biology. This isn't just a fantasy. Companies are actively building these systems right now. It represents a fundamental shift from a model where large corporations profit from your data to one where individuals have control, consent, and compensation. It's a future where you can contribute to science on your own terms. So, we've journeyed from the simple act of spitting in a tube to the complex world of big data, pharmaceutical deals, and the future of personal privacy. We've seen how your DNA, your unique biological blueprint, is not just a record of your past, but a valuable asset that could shape the future of medicine. The current system asks you to trade your privacy for discovery, with massive corporations reaping the financial rewards. But a new paradigm is on the horizon, one that promises to empower you with ownership and control. Before you send off that sample, before you click, I agree. Take a moment. Think about the true value of what you're giving away. Your genetic code is the most intimate story ever told. It's time you decide who gets to read it and what it's worth. Thanks for watching. If you found this insightful, consider subscribing for more deep dives into the technology shaping our world.